Before the new Constitution could be instituted, 9 out of the 13 states had to ratify it. Americans were split into two main camps: anti-federalists who opposed ratification and worried that giving the federal government more power would make it susceptible to tyranny, and federalists who supported ratification. New York was a hub of anti-federalist sentiment. Many anti-federalists published articles in New York newspapers arguing that the proposed Constitution gave Congress too much power and would threaten American citizens' hard-won freedoms. In the midst of this, New York lawyer and Federalist Alexander Hamilton decided to write a series of anonymous essays defending the Constitution. He recruited fellow convention delegates John Jay and James Madison to help. Plagued by rheumatism, John Jay wrote only 5 essays, while Madison penned 29 and Hamilton authored 51. The overarching argument of the Federalist Papers is that the Articles of Confederation were weak and ineffective, and that the proposed Constitution would remedy these problems by creating a stronger federal government without threatening the rights and freedoms of American citizens. The first group of essays explains that under the system set by the Articles, the federal government was too decentralized for America to be a strong international presence or effectively address internal rebellions. Subsequent sections defend the proposed Constitution, including a group of essays devoted to the importance of the federal government's power to levy taxes. Another large portion of these essays provides a comprehensive overview of the new structure of government proposed by the Constitution, including the system of checks and balances. Some of the essays are more famous than others. One of the most influential was Federalist 10, written by Madison, which argues against the idea that Republican governments, or governments in which political authority comes from the people, can only be successful in small countries. Madison argues that, in fact, larger countries are more conducive to successful Republican governments because they are more heterogeneous and better able to balance the competing interests of different factions. Another particularly famous essay, Federalist 51, details the importance of checks and balances, arguing that this system protects against tyranny, similar to what Americans suffered at the hands of the British. We must first enable the government to control the governed, and in the next place oblige it to control itself. Madison wrote explaining that since both individuals and governments are fallible and prone to mistakes, a government must have checks on its power. At the time of the publication, the Federalist Papers were enormously influential. Few people outside of New York read them, and they were not successful in convincing a majority of New Yorkers to support the Constitution. The state sent more anti-federalists than federalists to the state ratification convention. However, New York did end up voting to support the new document. In July 1788, a small majority of delegates voted for ratification on the condition that a list of amendments detailing additional rights were added to the Constitution.